As the war in eastern Ukraine dragged into another brutal phase, a massive Russian military convoy advancing through a narrow corridor of damaged roads and abandoned farmland found itself trapped in one of the most devastating sniper-led ambushes of the conflict. Ukrainian fighters from the Azov brigade, operating in small concealed units with drones and precision rifles, reportedly turned a slow-moving armored column into a scene of chaos, panic, and destruction. Military analysts say the engagement demonstrated a harsh reality of modern warfare. Even heavily armed mechanized forces can become vulnerable when mobility, reconnaissance, and coordination fail. In this case, Ukrainian sniper teams exploited terrain, weather, and intelligence to strike a convoy that appeared completely unprepared for resistance from hidden marksmen. The encounter lasted several hours and left wrecked vehicles scattered across a key supply route. Survivors described confusion, constant incoming fire, and the terrifying inability to locate the attackers. According to Ukrainian military sources, the Russian convoy stretched for several kilometers and included fuel trucks, armored personnel carriers, ammunition transports, and troop carriers. The route passed through partially wooded terrain near destroyed settlements where visibility was limited and side roads had been heavily mined earlier in the conflict. Observers noted that the convoy moved without sufficient aerial surveillance and lacked adequate infantry screening along its flanks. That decision would prove catastrophic. Azov reconnaissance teams had reportedly monitored the convoy for hours using commercial drones modified for battlefield observation. Once the column entered a constricted roadway bordered by tree lines and ruined industrial structures, sniper units moved into pre-selected firing positions. The Ukrainian fighters did not attempt a direct assault. Instead, they targeted vulnerable points in the convoy with calculated precision.
Цель.
Several lead vehicles reportedly lost control after sniper rounds shattered windshields and struck operators. Fuel trucks then became easy targets, igniting fires that blocked escape routes for vehicles behind them. As smoke spread across the road, the convoy slowed to a standstill. Unlike traditional battlefield engagements involving artillery barrages or armored assaults, the ambush relied on patience, concealment, and disciplined marksmanship. Military experts studying the encounter emphasized how sniper warfare has evolved during the Ukraine conflict. Modern sniper teams are no longer isolated shooters hidden in distant buildings. They now operate as integrated battlefield cells linked to drones, encrypted communications, and real-time intelligence. In this operation, Ukrainian teams reportedly coordinated through portable digital systems, allowing spotters to identify officers, radio operators, and machine gun crews inside the convoy. Instead of firing continuously, the snipers used selective engagement tactics designed to create maximum psychological pressure. Witnesses claimed long periods of silence were interrupted by sudden precision shots that struck exposed personnel attempting to reorganize defenses. Russian soldiers, unable to determine where the fire originated, reportedly abandoned some vehicles and sought cover in roadside ditches. But open terrain offered little protection against skilled marksmen observing through thermal optics. One Ukrainian fighter later described the operation as controlled paralysis. The convoy still had weapons, he said in an interview circulated online. But weapons mean nothing if the crews are terrified to move. Small quadcopters hovered above the immobilized convoy, transmitting live footage to sniper teams hidden hundreds of meters away. Every movement made by Russian troops could reportedly be tracked in real time.
Часов цель наблюдаешь? 1150 дистанция.
Attempts to reposition armored vehicles became difficult because drone operators immediately relayed coordinates to marksmen waiting for targets. Analysts say this combination of drones and sniper teams represents one of the defining tactical innovations of the war. Traditional military doctrine assumes snipers operate independently. But in Ukraine, small teams have evolved into mobile precision units, capable of controlling large sections of terrain. A convoy trapped without electronic warfare protection or effective reconnaissance can rapidly become vulnerable to repeated attacks. Several armored vehicles reportedly attempted suppressive fire into nearby tree lines, but the Ukrainian teams had already shifted positions. By the time Russian gunners responded, the shooters were gone. Radio transmissions intercepted during the battle suggested commanders struggled to determine whether they were facing a larger mechanized attack or isolated sniper harassment. Smoke from burning vehicles interfered with visibility while damaged transport trucks blocked maneuver routes. Some units reportedly attempted to reverse direction but became trapped behind disabled vehicles. Military historians often note that long military columns are especially vulnerable when forced into confined terrain. In modern warfare, where drones can instantly expose vehicle positions, any loss of mobility can quickly escalate into disaster. Witness accounts from nearby villages described sustained gunfire echoing across the area for hours. Explosions from ammunition trucks intensified the confusion, while isolated Russian troops reportedly became separated from their command structure. Beyond the physical destruction, the ambush carried enormous psychological impact. Sniper warfare creates a unique form of fear because the threat is often invisible. Soldiers can respond to artillery with cover or retreat. They can engage tanks with anti-armor weapons. But a hidden marksman firing from an unknown position creates constant uncertainty. Military psychologists describe sniper attacks as deeply destabilizing for troop morale. In the convoy ambush, Russian personnel reportedly hesitated to leave vehicles even after fires broke out, fearing exposure to sniper fire. Some survivors later described feeling hunted.
По готовности огонь. Наблюдаю.
This psychological effect has become increasingly important in the Ukraine war, where both sides rely heavily on morale, adaptability, and rapid tactical decisions. Azov units, known for aggressive battlefield tactics and urban combat experience, have reportedly emphasized precision engagements designed not only to destroy targets, but also to undermine enemy confidence. The convoy incident quickly spread across social media channels and military discussion forums, amplifying its symbolic significance. Large armored formations, once considered dominant military instruments, are increasingly vulnerable to decentralized precision attacks. Cheap drones, portable anti-tank weapons, satellite intelligence, and sniper coordination have altered the balance between mobility and concealment. Instead of relying solely on overwhelming firepower, smaller units now use information dominance and terrain familiarity to target weaknesses in larger formations. The convoy incident illustrated how precision and coordination can neutralize numerical advantage. Military academies around the world are reportedly studying similar engagements to understand how future wars may unfold. For Russia, however, the incident raised renewed questions about convoy security, operational planning, and battlefield adaptability. Even if exact casualty numbers remain disputed, the psychological and strategic consequences were undeniable. Despite dramatic battlefield moments like the convoy ambush, the broader war remains defined by attrition, artillery exchanges, drone strikes, and grinding territorial struggles.